A Kennedy's unconventional campaign, from Democrat to independent. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s presidential campaign was unconventional from the start. Initially challenging incumbent President Joe Biden for the Democratic nomination, Kennedy positioned himself as a dissident voice within his own party. He was critical of the Biden administration's handling of the pandemic and other key issues, appealing to a segment of the Democratic base disillusioned with the status quo. However, Kennedy faced an uphill battle from the beginning. Biden's incumbency and strong support within the Democratic establishment made it difficult for Kennedy to gain significant traction. He struggled to break through in polls and secure key endorsements, highlighting the challenges of mounting a primary challenge against a sitting president. In a surprising move, Kennedy announced his decision to run as an independent candidate. This decision reflected the growing partisan divide in American politics and the increasing difficulty of challenging establishment figures within the two major parties. It also signaled Kennedy's belief that his message resonated beyond traditional party lines. Kennedy's transition to an independent candidacy was not without its own set of challenges. It meant foregoing the infrastructure and resources of the Democratic Party, forcing him to build a campaign organization from scratch. Additionally, it placed him in direct competition with both Biden and the Republican nominee, potentially splitting the vote and influencing the outcome of the election. Fading momentum, Kennedy's waning support and uncertain future. After Biden was forced out and Harris was installed by party elites, and despite initial enthusiasm from some quarters, Kennedy's campaign has recently shown signs of faltering. His poll numbers, which once hinted at a potential third-party surge, have plateaued and even dipped in recent weeks. This decline suggests that Kennedy's message, while resonating with a niche audience, may not have the broad appeal needed to sustain a viable independent bid for the presidency. Adding to the campaign's woes are reports of internal conflicts and organizational difficulties. There have been rumors of staff departures and disagreements over strategy, suggesting a lack of cohesion within the Kennedy camp. These internal struggles, often amplified in the media glare of a presidential campaign, further threaten to derail Kennedy's already challenging path to the White House. Scheduled appearances at rallies and town halls, initially envisioned as opportunities to connect with voters and galvanize support, have also been met with mixed results. Some events have drawn enthusiastic crowds, eager to hear Kennedy's message of change and his critiques of the political establishment. However, other appearances have been marred by lower-than-expected turnouts, raising questions about the depth and enthusiasm of Kennedy's support base. The combination of waning poll numbers, internal strife, and inconsistent public reception paint a picture of a campaign struggling to maintain momentum. While Kennedy has defied expectations before, the current trajectory suggests that his path to victory is becoming increasingly narrow and difficult to navigate. Shifting sands potential impact on the Trump-Harris showdown. The uncertain fate of Kennedy's campaign introduces a new layer of complexity to the presidential race between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Kennedy's presence as a third-party candidate could impact the outcome, especially in a tightly contested election. His candidacy might draw votes away from both Trump and Harris, acting as a spoiler in key states. This scenario is crucial if the election is close, with even a small percentage of votes shifting the balance. Kennedy's appeal to disaffected voters could make him a wild card in the electoral calculus. His outspoken views on vaccine mandates and government overreach resonate with a segment of the electorate. By injecting these issues into the campaign, Kennedy could force Trump and Harris to address them more directly. An unlikely alliance? Exploring a possible Trump endorsement. Rumors have begun to circulate about a potential endorsement of Donald Trump by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. this Friday. This unlikely alliance could reshape the dynamics of the presidential race. The basis for such an endorsement seems tenuous. Kennedy and Trump come from vastly different backgrounds and hold contrasting views on some issues. Kennedy, a lifelong Democrat, represents a more liberal wing. Trump is an America First firebrand who has upended the traditional Republican orthodoxy. However, there are some points of convergence between the two men. Both have tapped into a vein of anti-establishment sentiment. Additionally, both have expressed skepticism towards certain government institutions. A Trump endorsement by Kennedy would likely be driven by strategic calculations. For Trump, securing Kennedy's endorsement could help legitimize his candidacy among independents. It could also serve to further divide the opposition. For Kennedy, the decision to endorse Trump would be fraught with risk. It would likely alienate many of his longtime supporters and further damage his standing within the Democratic Party, who shut him out of the primaries by refusing him a place in the voting. Who do you think RFK Jr. dropping out helps? Leave a comment.